They really believe in rewarding their employees here. I've been to Bermuda, 6-day all-inclusive Bermuda trip. I've been to Marco Island. I've been to St. Pete, Florida, all 100% on Leading Path's dime, because that's the level of care and the level of willingness they have to go above and beyond to treat their employees the way they feel they need to be treated.
Welcome to Security Cleared Jobs, Who's Hiring and How, the podcast for cleared professionals looking for new opportunities and career advice. We go behind the scenes with recruiters and hiring managers from leading cleared employers to uncover the information you need to make a smart career move. Get ready for insights from this week's guest and your hosts, Kathleen Smith and Rachel Bozeman.
And hello, everyone. Here is Kathleen, and welcome to our show today. Rachel, how are you doing today?
You know, sniffles and all, I am glad to be here and glad to be with all of our amazing listeners.
Yeah, sniffle season. Oh, well. So today we're talking to Jason Immediato. He's the lead for Cleared Talent and Acquisition for Leading Path Consulting. Rachel, kick us off.
Absolutely. Well, you are in for an awful lot of fun, but before we have too much fun, we need to learn a little bit more about you, and I would certainly appreciate hearing about your recruiting journey. How in the heck did you become a recruiter, and how in the heck did you end up at Leading Path?
Yeah, great question, Rachel. And in fact, it's been a long journey. Starting off in sales, I do have some recruiting background as well, but really in finding Leading Path, this was truly a culture search for me. I left a very large organization after about 9.5 years, really looking for the right culture fit, the right leadership team. Didn't really care about what my position was. I felt confident that I could succeed in whatever position I took on, but it was really about, I have young children at home, I have a family, and it was about being available for them. And so I started researching companies who had top culture. Found Leading Path Consulting through my sister, actually, who's working in the accounting department over there. And she had glowing remarks of both the leadership team and the culture that they've created and maintained there. So recruiting is a passion for mine. It's something I have a background in, but my family's a passion as well. And so being able to mend those two together by working in recruiting and helping people find roles to support our homeland security, combined with the fact that I get so much flexibility and freedom and trust from my leadership team, it's just a match made in heaven.
Well, I heard they give a little bit more than just trust and flexibility, because I heard a little rumor that you may or may not have been on the open seas after only 5 to 6 months, maybe scored a cruise to Bermuda?
Yeah. So in fact, not only was I on a cruise with the company, with Leading Path Consulting, but the entire employee group was, and all of their spouses and children, all on that cruise to Bermuda. Wasn't the first and wasn't the last trip that this company has taken. They really believe in rewarding their employees here. I've been to Bermuda, 6-day all-inclusive Bermuda trip. I've been to Marco Island. I've been to St. Pete, Florida, all 100% on Leading Path's dime. Because that's the level of care and the level of willingness they have to go above and beyond to treat their employees, the way they feel they need to be treated.
That sounds wonderful. I just think that that's just so cool that everyone that plays together stays together and you're all supporting the mission. And speaking of supporting the mission, what type of work is Leading Path Consulting doing in the cleared community?
Mainly it's IT. We do a lot of work supporting the Northern Virginia intelligence customer that's based in McLean. As you can imagine, and you've probably heard, there's a ton of needs for systems engineers, software engineers in that space. And so our core competencies here truly at Leading Path are data engineering, software engineering, cloud and DevOps system solutions, specifically supporting mission critical groups that impact boots on ground. And so it's a passion of ours to be able to positively impact homeland security and really, I guess, push the buttons that allow us to be tip of the spear, right? To be able to really, truly impact how we secure our nation and its citizens.
So you mentioned some of the different positions that you're currently hiring for, but you know what we're going to ask next. Where are they located?
As you can imagine, with the Northern Virginia customer, they're in Northern Virginia. So we do have some programs that offer seat flexibility, which is great, right? Folks that come from DC that don't want to travel out to Chantilly, where we can offer hot seat locations in McLean. And these are permanent seats where they're able to support a group that's not on site, but they can still do the work, integrate with the team. They travel half as much every day, which is important to Leading Path, leaves them with more time to spend with friends, with family, and the things that they have going on outside of work. There's more to life than just work. That's one thing that I'm very proud to support, and one thing that our leadership group here at Leading Path is passionate about. But primarily McLean, Reston, Herndon, Chantilly, even as far out west as Warrenton.
Wonderful, and love that life-work balance there as well. So a lot of our listeners definitely would love to learn a little bit more about those cleared positions. And do they require that full scope poly?
Yes, the majority of our roles do require that full scope poly. We do some additional work with some DoD customers that don't require that poly, but those are a little bit fewer and further between. Right now, our main focus is to support that McLean customer, which, as many of you know, requires the TSSCI with full scope poly to be able to be badged to go on site to a SCIF and access classified information.
It's always nice to have that clarification because, after COVID, a lot of people said, can I sort of separate my work-life balance and work in a different cleared facility? So we just like to bring it back to everyone and let them know that, yeah, there still is some work that isn't a skiff. It is on site. It does support a customer. It does support the mission, but it sounds like you have a lot of flexibility with that as well. And you've highlighted several components of the company culture, cruises and work-life balance. Can you sort of delve a little bit more deeper into that and share with us who would really thrive at Leading Path?
One thing that I want to point out truly is our leadership group. I have the pleasure of working for three individuals who are, C-suite executives, yet they're so down to earth and so humble, right? They really, truly believe that their employees are their number one asset. And they treat them as such. Going back to my first few days here at Leading Path, I made suggestions for them to increase their spending to further reward the employees they already have in an effort to increase the retention and decrease attrition. And they snapped their fingers. I mean, these individuals are so big-hearted, so wonderful when it comes to investing in their employees, whether it be a cruise to Bermuda or, sending them to AWS reInvent out in Vegas, or providing them fully paid for benefits, medical, dental, vision for not only them, but all of their immediate dependents. Really goes a long way to our employees to show them how much we truly care about them, how much we're willing to invest and support them in both their professional lives and their lives outside of work. So as far as answering your question about people who would thrive here under the Leading Path model, we have a lot of projects that don't have a lot of oversight. So I'd say a self-motivated individual, someone who really wants to come in and perform and do their job, right? And then go home and be with their families at the end of the day. It's okay to put in a 40-hour work week and have a life outside of work. But as long as you're motivated during those 40 hours during the week, you're not going to get micromanaged. You're going to get trusted to do your job. You're going to get support and training to help you with your position. But if you're self-motivated, if you come in every day with a focus to get something done and accomplish a task, you're going to do very well here and you're going to be well supported.
Awesome. And I love people who talk about their inspirational C-suite executives and how they're very supportive. It sounds like they're also very accessible. Do you have any examples of how they're accessible?
Oh my goodness. Here's an example. Monday after my birthday, my birthday typically falls around the Super Bowl. And so I received a call from my boss, a COO, right? C-suite executive, called me up Monday morning. Hey, Jason, how's it going? Tell me about how things are going. Okay, Mike, great. Let me talk to you about some of the candidates that I've been speaking with, about, some of the projects that we've been supporting. No, Jason. How's life? How's your family? How do you like it here at Leading Path Consulting? How are we doing? Is there something more we can do to support you? And that really goes a long way. I've worked with a lot of C-suite and C-level executives over the years. And, one thing I can say that's true about this leadership group, it's not just about a butt in a seat. It's not just about the bottom line. It's not just about what have you done for me lately. These people truly care about how you're enjoying the work, how we as an organization internally can get better, and what we can do to support individuals' professional and personal growth. So, I mean, I receive texts from my executive team. How was your son's sporting event? How was your weekend? How was your birthday? How was your wife and you's anniversary? They truly value the personal connection with their employees and with their teammates. And, it's just been a breath of fresh air for me since joining about 5.5 years ago.
Well, I can definitely feel the breath of fresh air. That is wonderful. And you're doing a wonderful job really helping us understand what the culture feels like there. But now I want to kick it over just a little bit. And you said something in the pre call that was pretty interesting. You said a lot of things that were very interesting, but especially appreciated this one that
Thank you.
some of the best hires, you're so good, Jason, that some of the best hires were people who kicked a lot of tires and kissed a lot of frogs.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's in that order, but ultimately end up at leading path. So tell us more. Why do you think this is? Where in the world did you come up with that? Tell us.
Sometimes you got to do what you got to do to find your prince or princess, right?
Right.
Yeah, no. We tend to find that the folks who do all the research, right? It's the individuals who they put their resume out there on Clear Jobs and they're getting 50 emails from a recruiter in one day, right? Especially software engineers, systems engineers, people who are highly technical with this high level clearance. And really, we find the folks that respond to as many recruiters as possible to gather the information to truly vet out each opportunity. They're the ones who tend to put us at the top of their list. And again, the reasons go back to a supportive executive team, outstanding employee benefits, wonderfully mission and technically focused projects that we're supporting, and just an overall flexible environment. So I would say it's very much the culture that we're creating, right? And it's the executive team that's here to support us, but that really drives our success.
Awesome. And sort of dovetailing into that question, I'm going to put us in the frame of mind that I'm a passive candidate because we know basically most of the cleared community is a passive candidate. We find many of the candidates are always sort of looking for their next opportunity. Contracts are not always re-upped. They're not, recompeted and won. So everyone's sort of a passive candidate. And a lot of times, as you mentioned earlier, people will have their profile on ClearedJobs.net and they'll be contacted by a lot of recruiters. Why should they maintain those relationships? Why should they keep contacting or responding to people that reach out to them? What's in it for that passive candidate?
Yeah, it's such a big deal, right? To maintain your communications and your network, right? From my perspective, right, as a recruiter, I want to help every individual that I speak with, right, find the opportunity that's going to be most rewarding to them, right? Let's say I connect with you, Kathleen, and you're looking for an opportunity, and it doesn't work out the first time. That's okay. I want to be able to send you new opportunities as time goes on because you never know when life may take a turn, right? When an opportunity may grow dry or when you're looking for a new challenge. So keeping those doors open is so vital. And again, it goes back to those candidates who explored all their opportunities and all their options, and they found that Leading Path was the best because they offered A, B, and C. Well, if we maintain our contact, I'm going to continue to send you roles that are in line with your, professional goals as we discussed. I'm always going to try to align our objectives with your objectives. And so I'm going to send you opportunities. I'm going to push for the highest salary. I'm going to push for the best benefits. I'm going to push for the environment that provides you the flexibility, the location, the clearance level, the tech stack that's most in line with your professional interests. So I guess if you ask it the other way, you're missing out on so much by not keeping those lines of communication open because, hey, I may send you a role that says this role is paying $250,000 and it's in your backyard, or $275,000 salary and it's in your backyard and it's on the tech stack you said that you were most passionate about. Let's talk, right? Let's keep that line of communication open.
So I'm going to go off script. Explain to us, with Leading Path Consulting being a smaller company, what's the hiring process? I mean, you find a resume, you're interested in someone, you're having a conversation, Remind us sort of what are the steps and how long is it going to take? Because I think a lot of job seekers out there are sort of, I get a call and I get an interview and I'm going to start in a week. And we all know that there's a lot of different things that go into the interview process. And I would assume in your case, possibly meeting with the customer might be also part of the interview process. So why don't you give us the behind the scenes on that so people have a clearer picture of it?
Yes, and that's correct. Typically, our process looks like this. When I identify an individual whose skill set and interests fall in line with our particular contracts and relationships, customer relationships, I'll reach out and during that initial contact, I'll get a feel for the individual's culture fit, right? I'm not technical. I don't claim to be. I'm not going to pull the wool over anybody's eyes and say I am, but really I'm trying to identify culture fit. And that can be done in a 20 or 30-minute phone conversation where I share leading past culture and get to know the individual on a more personal level. From that point, you would do a simple internal technical screening with either our CEO, Ruba, or one of our technical leads, Chris. And they would do typically what's done in the past is a 20 to 30-minute technical screen just to verify a candidate's individual skill set, their strengths, and where we feel from a project perspective that individual would succeed. And as long as that all aligns with the individual, the candidate's goals, then we would move forward. I would prepare a resume to be sent to the customer, and the customer would typically request an in-person interview that lasts about 1 hour. And following that 1 hour on-site interview, you would have an answer within 48 hours, 2 business days, as to whether or not that customer particularly specifically wants to hire you. All in all, from my initial outreach to the candidate, I'd say about a week, maybe 10 days till you have an offer in hand. Once the offer is in hand, then we go through the traditional clearance crossover process, and that's variable, right, depending on which agency you're coming from and which agency you're going to. But typically anywhere between 3 and 10 business days to get the official crossover before you were to make the transition. I hope that's clear.
Yeah, it was great. It sounds like pretty much every one of your candidates will have to go on site to meet with the customer. And I just wanted to remind our listeners that that's a part of the job search process.
Well, and it's a benefit to them as well because not always is an environment the right fit for someone, and that's okay, right? It's okay to go on site, meet with a tech team, meet with your tech lead, and say, you know what, this isn't the right environment for me. I don't see myself being successful, and that's okay. And we want to work with you to find an environment where you do feel comfortable and you want to be successful.
Perfect. Well, you are full of great wisdom and all things wonderful. So maybe you don't mind imparting a little bit more of your goodness on some different tips or tricks that candidates can use to really improve their job search.
Yeah. Again, I think it goes back to responding to the outreach you have, right? You post your resume, you obviously have an interest in a new challenge. If a recruiter reaches out, respond to that recruiter and see what they have to offer. It's maybe 15, 20 minutes, sometimes even less through an email, minutes of your time, just to flesh out that opportunity and see what's available. You might be surprised. You might connect with someone like Leading Path Consulting, who offers wonderful culture, wonderful benefits, mission-focused work with a lot of flexibility, and you may be surprised. So explore the big guys, explore the smaller guys, explore all your options, and really do the research to ensure you're choosing the place that's the right fit for you.
This has been really great tips. How can our listeners get in touch with Leading Path Consulting and you to follow up on any job opportunities?
Part of my role is to help ensure that the individual is fully informed throughout the entire onboarding process, but it doesn't stop there. So that it continues throughout their entire time as an employee here. They can email me at any time. My email is clearedcareers@theleadingpath.com, or they can go to our website, www.theleadingpath.com. And check out some of our job openings, check out some of the customers we support, both commercially and from the government perspective, and read maybe some bios about our leadership group.
Sounds great.
Well, Jason, it's been an absolute pleasure getting to learn from you and learning a little bit more about Leading Path Consultant. So we thank you for spending a little time with us today.
No, thank you both. You've been wonderful. I appreciate you giving us this platform.
Awesome. Thanks so much for your time today. Take care. Jason had some lovely things to say today about Leading Path Consulting, namely their culture. I mean, I've never heard someone so much of a cheerleader for, culture, but it sounds like he's got all of the great culture. They really love work-life balance. They have accessibility to their executives. The executives listen. Rachel, what did you like about today?
Well, no, I'm going to co-sign on all of the things that you just said. It was such a beautiful display of when culture's done right, when people are able to get to really know each other outside of just an employee number, be there on a cruise or have lunch together or just pick up the phone and say, how are you doing? It was just such a refreshing and exciting thing to hear. So if you want to hear more exciting and refreshing things, make sure that you are a member of the 100% Club. Yes, that means that you, my friend, have listened to 100% of this podcast. Thank you. Tell your friends, come back, listen again, then you'll be part of the 200% Club.
And if you're looking for more information on Cleared Jobs, be sure to check out our LinkedIn company page, where you can find out more job search tips, our upcoming events, or better yet, sign up for our newsletter. Thanks for listening.
Toodles!